Let's now continue to examine another important, deep way to envision the three powers or faculties of the mind: wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, which correspond to the three parts of the Bible, the 5 books of Moses and the prophets and the writings. One speaks of 3 different perspectives on reality. One is called retrospection, the other is extrospection, and the third is introspection. If I look or contemplate deeply the past and try to learn from the past what to do now in the present, or how to see and how to understand, how to relate to the present, that's retrospection. If I just try to contemplate and understand the reality which is before my eyes or before my mental eyes, and try to understand reality as objective truth, that's called extrospection. I'm looking at the outside and obviously believing that the outside exists objectively and trying to understand it. Extrospection. If I look deeply into myself and try to understand my own motives and my own reality, or in Hebrew it's called cheshbon nefesh, to make a reckoning with my own soul. Good and important about introspection is that it brings me to improve, to correct myself, or in Hebrew to do tshuva, to return to God, to return to the good and true path of life. That requires introspection, meaning that relatively extrospection is objective, whereas introspection is subjective. But it all begins with retrospection, which is the relation between the past and the present and the future, beginning from the past. Retrospection can mean that I think of all of my memories of the past in this lifetime. I try to understand the traumas that I experienced in my life, what they mean for me, how to heal the wounds that I might have in my psyche. But there's a much deeper form of retrospection. In Pirkei Avot, in the Ethics of the Fathers, we're taught that one should see and know, me'ayin bata, from where did you come? And that word, from where do you come, actually means that you came from ayin. Ayin means nothingness. It means that you were created something from nothing. And that's what the ultimate memory, the deep spiritual divine memory of how I was created, and it's not just was in the past, in the far past, it's actually now happening in every moment of life. That as though in every split second I return to nothing and I'm created anew, nothing from something. That's what I should see. That's the ultimate retrospection. To understand where I came from and where I'm coming from, which is the highest divine level, the source, the ultimate source of the soul. There are many stories of great tzaddikim, great righteous souls, that actually said that I remember the nothingness from which I became. Now that understanding of my ayin bata, where did you come from? That actually I came from nothing. That's the deepest meaning of wisdom, which means that relates to in the Bible, that relates to the 5 books of Moses. Because actually, what are the 5 books of Moses? It's, in simple terms, it all begins with the creation of the world itself, ex nihilo. In the prophets, in the writings, there's no explicit, simple relations of creation. It's only in the beginning of the 5 books of Moses that creation is related to. Then, as a people, the Jewish people, and also righteous Gentiles, come from Abraham. That's what we all that believe in one God, all peoples that believe in the God of Abraham, their origin is Abraham. So they have to try to retrospect that origin that they have. The Jewish people, as defined in Halakha, that you are the children, the sons of Jacob, the third of the patriarchs. So that's also our origin. So retrospection is to see your origin, where you're coming from, which is the most meaningful thing in your life. That if you know your origin, then you know who you are and what you're supposed to do in life. That leads you and directs you in all of your life's endeavors. That's retrospection, which is wisdom. We're taught that wisdom, a person is wise if he sees the process of new birth. Haro'et hanolad. New birth can either relate to the future, that he sees what is about to become, to be born, or that he sees in the present moment how now, in this very moment, I am being born anew, or that he sees how the world, together with him and all peoples on earth and the Jewish people, how they were born. The sight of birth, of new birth, is the ultimate retrospection. And once more, that corresponds to the mind of wisdom. And in the Bible, that's actually the 5 books of Moses, which the first book is Genesis, that begins with creation of the world, and it teaches us all of the history and the stories of the patriarchs, the matriarchs. And then the continuation of the Bible in Exodus and on teaches us about the exile that we had in Egypt, and the redemption, the salvation from Egypt, and the giving of the Torah. This is all what we have to retrospect. How the Torah was given to us, received the Word of God directly, envisioned every voice. We saw the voices of God speaking to us and teaching us to observe 613 commandments for the Jewish people. This is all retrospection. What about the prophets? The prophets are seeing right now the world as it is with all of its ups and downs, especially seeing the downs in order to try to correct and rectify the downs, and to rebuke or criticize the people with constructive criticism in order that they understand where they are. Like God asks Adam after the primordial sin, Hayeka, where are you? The first thing is that the person has to understand not just what he did, but what happened to him because he did it. Where are you? That's actually what the prophets are coming to say, but they're coming to say it right now in the present because they observe reality, and reality exists objectively. The prophet is not looking into himself. He's looking at the other. He's looking at the people. He's trying to relate to the people as they are, objectively, and trying to help them awaken themselves and become better spiritually. And then if they will become better spiritually, God will send them blessing to become better physically. What about the writings? The writings are introspection. Beginning with Psalms. In Psalms, King David is looking into his own soul. And he's crying from within his own soul. Proverbs, introspection. father that teaches his son teaches from his own experience. But what it says, we're taught that in Chacham Kabbalah Nisan, there's no wise man as that man that experienced and went through and was tested in his own life. From his own life's experience, he's able to teach his son the truth. But then comes maybe the most introspective book in the whole Bible, which is Job. The whole book is how to deal with his suffering. It's his suffering. It's all looking into himself, introspection, and how to try to understand it, make sense of it. Sometimes he has criticism, even of God. He has criticism. He so much does not understand what is happening to him. He's not able to cope with it. But it's all an introspective book. These three first books of the writings, the initial letters spell emet, truth. That's why they're called in the traditional literature of Judaism, they're called Sifrei Emet, the books of truth. Aleph, it's actually in a backwards order. Truth is three letters, the first letter of the alphabet, and the middle letter of the alphabet, and the last letter of the alphabet. That's truth. Beginning, middle, and end, all together. The first letter is Aleph, and that's the initial letter of Job. The second letter of truth is Mem, which is the initial letter of Mishlei, Proverbs. And the third letter is Tav, which is the initial letter of Tehillim, which is Psalms. All of the books of the Bible are meant to have a song to them. It's called a cantillation. Cantillation marks how to sing. Every book of the Bible is a melody. All of the 21 books of the Bible, excepting these three books, which are the three first books of the writings, have a certain grammatical method of cantillation marks, and how to sing the text. One that really wants to connect to the Torah, to all of the books of the Bible. The best way to connect your soul to the Bible is through properly knowing how to sing the Bible. All of the 21 books, excepting these three, has one system, one method of cantillation. Not that they all have the identical song, but grammatically the cantillation is the same. The marks are the same. Just in different books, they are sung differently, but it's the same method. These three books, which are the most introspective books of the Bible, have a totally different form of cantillation. So much so that in most Jewish traditions, it actually has become forgotten how to sing. It's because to sing these three books is such a complex form of singing that people, even the greatest now of the sages in recent generations, no longer know how to properly sing Psalms or Proverbs or the book of Job. We are told that the last great sage of Israel that knew and was able to sing, said that in order to sing these verses of these three books, you have to have a very, very long breath. The last one who was able to do it is the author of the Tanya. We call the Alter Rebbe in Yiddish, the old Rabbi, the first Rabbi of the Chabad Hasidic movement. He taught how to sing it to his eldest great-grandchild, who he knew in his lifetime. So he was actually the last that knew how to properly sing, the last for the time being, until Messiah comes and will certainly teach us how to sing it properly. How to sing these three books, meaning that to sing the deepest insights of introspection is different from retrospection and different from extrospection. And it's so unique, and it requires such a long breath that we now almost no one knows how to sing it. We can obviously learn it in our minds, but the ultimate is to be able to sing it properly. And these three books are the ultimate truth of the Bible. Sifrei Emet. So this is another most important introduction to understanding the Bible. And to, especially, as we already mentioned, we're going to focus on the inspiration of the introspective books. And especially, we're going to try to focus on the book of Proverbs, which is in the acronym of truth, it's the middle of the three. It's the mem of the word emet, which is the middle letter of the alphabet, which actually combines the first, the aleph of Iyov of Job, and the tav of Tehillim.